Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome. It's a little almost Thanksgiving Day edition. Not quite, but we're almost there. It's Orange Ones Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum, and that over there, that handsome gentleman who officiated a wedding yesterday. Yeah, he's a bad boy. Yeah, we're talking Texas A&M. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a little game in a few days, and if you care at all, like, comment, subscribe to the page. We do appreciate that. We're creeping up. Little engine that could. Chugga, 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 chugga. Choo, choo.
Yeah, what I see, 186?
That's the last I saw was 186.
186,000 plus. Thank you all for that. That's awesome.
And the next 1,000 that we get to, we've murdered. No, we've murdered it because it's, never mind. Like I just murdered that segue.
Good try.
I don't get to say 187. You know, when I was younger, you would say that kind of stuff when you were like 16. 187 would like come out of your mouth. Now I'm 49 years old, and it's like a fart joke. It's like 187,000. Forgive me. A lot of rap music when I was.
That's
younger.
okay. To show you what kind of nerd I was growing up, 187 did not mean that to me at all. So I've not. Yeah, I could have been obviously a lot cooler with those references.
One of the things that happened yesterday in Steve Sarkisian's press conference, Chad, and quite frankly, in Mike Elko's press conference at Texas A&M.
Yep.
Very quickly, very briefly, neither coach went like deep undercover or in the covers, or murdered the opportunity to give us an answer with regards to like their star players. Anthony Hill for Texas, Le'Veon Moss for Texas A&M. If you think it's just about those two forces kind of colliding, I think you're even missing the scale of what both of those two players mean to their teams going into this game. We'll start with the Longhorns. So yesterday, all because Anwar Richardson is a dog and just will not give up. Even when Sark was trying to interrupt him.
Thank you, Anwar.
While he was in the middle of asking an arch question, which I thought, was good. He was like, at the end, Sark started to like cut him off, and Anwar was like, and yeah, if you could just tell us whether or not Anthony Hill practiced today. And then I was like, good job, Anwar. I don't know if he's going to acknowledge the question.
Yeah.
But you did ask it, because we're 15 minutes into this bad boy and nobody's asked about the All-America linebacker, who's a Butkus Award finalist as of today.
My God, sometimes the obvious question is the one to ask.
And you know what? It's a good thing that Anwar asked, because what Sark said was, now look, what Sark said on Saturday was, oh yeah, Anthony Hill, he's going to play against the Aggies. Anwar asked a fairly, I think, benign question, given that Sark said he was going to play, which was, hey, man, he practiced today?
Right.
And Sark could have said, look, what I tell you on Saturday, he's going to play, he's fine.
Yeah, he's good.
What he said was, well, I don't know. We haven't practiced yet. Now, look,
dude,
it couldn't look. Everybody says this all the time. You ever believe anything that a coach says at a press conference, right? So we know that there can be some gamesmanship here. But A&M knows he missed the last game. So they're going to have plenty to work on with regards to if he's out there, what do we want to do versus if he's not. I don't know that it's that big of a deal, the back and forth cat and mouse game. But in answering the question the way that he did, and look, just to be full transparency, I've checked around this morning. I didn't do it last night because I got distracted by the volleyball game. Congratulations to the Longhorns. They beat your Aggies. And I got to be honest, just real quick sidebar. Did you watch any of that?
I did not.
I was watching, like, Longhorns win the first set pretty easily. Then the second set, A&M comes back, and that's kind of when I got into the match.
This is in College Station or Austin?
It's in the SEC tournament in Savannah. So this is the semifinals. A&M had beaten Texas on Halloween, and that was Texas's first loss of the season. Then they lost to Kentucky 2 days later at home, swept. And it was like, oh, is Texas good or are they not good? The game against A&M was kind of their first chance to prove that they're good. I'm watching in the second set, and A&M's kind of steamrolling them, and I'm like, maybe Texas isn't that good. And then they just did it. Won next two sets. They win 3-1. They get revenge on the Aggies, and they get a rematch tonight with Kentucky for a chance at the SEC Tournament Championship. Then the Texas basketball team. There was just a lot of stuff going on last night.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't reach out and ask anybody about Anthony Hill, whether or not he practiced. I should have. I'm sometimes an excuse is just a reason things happen, people.
Yeah,
is it an excuse that I was watching a volleyball game and I didn't text anybody about Anthony Hill? Yes.
Yeah. Short week, holiday week, volleyball's going on. There's all kinds of things.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
I tried again today. I'll have something, maybe even before the end of the show is over, to get a kind of an update there. But I thought it was an interesting answer from Sark. And then Mike Elko, maybe a little less mysterious than Steve Sarkisian. And yet, even when you direct quote him, you still come away with, well, Elko said, probably not, we'll see, and kind of labeled him 50-50.
Yeah. That's huge.
What does that mean to you? Like, because I feel like I'll tell you what, I don't remember watching the Aggies this season where just always feels like they're using all of their backs, and I'm always seeing Ruben Owens, and maybe it's because he's been out for so long that I'm not truly appreciating what the difference between the A&M offense is with him in it versus who they've been playing with when they've still been pretty good on offense. And Ruben Owens has kind of proven that he belongs at this level.
Yeah, I think it's been a contrast when he's out. There was a little time where Le'Veon was on and off. Like they'd put him on the bike for a while and try to get him out there. And then they realized it was a little more serious, so they wanted to rest him. In the game where that decision was made, Ruben Owens goes for like 142, I think it was, somewhere around there against Mississippi State. They stretch it out and beat Mississippi State by multiple scores. But from that point to today, Catch, Colin Klein has either been protecting Ruben Owens or he thinks Ruben Owens is just another back in his backfield. It's one of those two. And maybe you could even argue because in the Sanford game, he rested Owens, he rested E.J. Smith just to make sure. And
there's another guy, like I will forget, and then it'll be like, oh, there's E.J. Smith and on an important down, and it's like they really do use all their guys.
And that is key because that's the other guy to bring up. He has been getting more important carries all the way back to the Florida game for A&M. So how important do they really believe he is? They give him, you're dead on. They will give him some important carries that I'm thinking, wait a minute, what? Against South Carolina.
The crazy. Wait a minute. Is he playing in this game?
Remember the crazy play that everybody might remember when it's already 31-30 and the Aggies ran the weird little throwback play and they screw it up and South Carolina covers it. The two previous plays were handoffs to E.J. Smith right up the middle, and neither of them worked. Texas fans referenced 17-7 in College Station last year.
I'd be so pissed if Emmitt Smith's kid ever ends up being the difference. Like if Emmitt Smith's kid decides an A&M Texas game in favor of the Aggies.
And I never would have told you, Catch, that was even possible.
It would piss me off.
To E.J. Smith for the last couple of years has been a guy that gets to play against Sanford to me. That's about it. He doesn't get to play impactful games. He doesn't get to meet in impactful moments. And anytime he gets a carry that feels a little too important to me, I wonder why. But they've been giving him more of those this year. So now if we go into this game and the Aggies do not have number 8 out there, it changes the offense. So you asked me, is it a big deal? Hell yes, it's a big deal. It's not as big a deal as like Cyrus Gray in 2011. It's not that, but it's not small to me. It's a huge thing if Moss can't play. It would be enough. It would be enough to at least maybe not completely flip a pick. It'd be enough to change a pick, though, for me. It'd be enough to change the score you're predicting if you know Moss isn't playing.
I don't know that I see Anthony Hill as quite that in this game, but I might be wrong. I know Anthony Hill wants to play in this game. It's one of the first things we heard last week when we heard about the injury on a Sunday. One of those, it's like sometimes it's just best to let someone else break a story. You don't need to be the first one to break the Anthony Hill has a broken hand. Let everybody know it's coming. It gets out. We let everybody know almost certainly wasn't going to play on Saturday. And even though, they list him on the injury report, that thing was always headed towards him not playing on Saturday. The thing that we had heard – now, look, there could have been conversations over the course of the last week where the conversation sounded like, you know what? You're good. Go play. Go practice. But initially it sounded very much like if it's up to him, he'll play. And then there was a lot of conversation that he'll play because he's not going to, what we'll miss. Look, he just got named as a Butkus Award finalist. He probably has a chance to win that. I don't think he will. His stats were better last year. If you could take his profile this year and take his stats from last year, he's probably a unanimous Butkus Award winner. But he's a finalist. It's probably going to be his last game at DKR. And there's just no way that guy's not going to want to play. It probably, the thing is, you and I have sat together and watched a number of Texas games this year, and we know where that soft spot of that defense has been throughout the season. And Anthony Hill's got fingerprints on some of that. As terrific as that interception was against Georgia, it hasn't been like that all the time. And sometimes because he's a little ineffective at times in obvious passing down situations, they've brought in Ty Anthony Smith and Leon Galafau as a duo, which every time it happens and you and I are sitting together, we're like,
Zero?
Why are you taking Hill off the field?
Where is zero?
There's no down and distance where if Chad and I are watching a game together, it's like, oh, it's okay. It's 3rd and 58. It's a down where Hill can rest.
Yeah, Catch never leans over to me and says, water for Hill on this play.
This
Water for
is
Hill.
the bathroom break for Hill,
Right.
Like, this is where he can squeeze it in. It's an unimportant part of the game. So I think Texas kind of knows. Texas does not know their issues. And this is where A&M's weirdly a scary team for Texas. One, because they'll run those receivers on crossers. We saw Arkansas try to get to it. If you're Texas, you got to get to the quarterback. If you give him enough time to let Craver or Concepcion work their way over half the field and lose somebody in traffic, you're going to give up big plays. So that they do. But the other thing is, and most teams can't do this, Texas fans, if A&M is recruiting a 5-star wide receiver that Texas is interested in, they would say, why are you going to Colin Klein to go play for that guy? He puts 4 or 5 tight ends on the field on every play. So when it's recruiting, it's fun to laugh at the Colin Klein offense, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
But when your soft spot is in the middle of the field and teams have been exposing it week after week after week, playing a team that plays 5 tight ends is a recipe for a potential problem. A&M's strength, I think, goes right at the heart of Texas's weaknesses, at least in the last month on defense. I mean, they're giving up 30-plus points per game. They've done it at home. They've done it on the road. Yes, that includes some fourth quarters, but you know what? They're going to play a fourth quarter on Friday. That is, I checked, Chad, because I was on the phone with you earlier, and I was like, has Texas ever beaten a team? And I was like, 1941. The Aggies were ranked 2nd. There you go. It's not quite that historical. I looked. They never have called any of the games out after the 3rd quarter.
No. Even back then, clocks were different. Timers were different. Sometimes they use sand, but I think they would always go 4 quarters.
It just feels like if that was a possibility, that I know both Texas and Texas A&M fans have some OU games that they'd like to kill at the 3rd quarter. I'm just saying, if that, I still looked it up.
That's fair.
But I've been to a few of those where it's like, can we just shake hands? It's good. It's good.
I would tell you, Catch, if we could have had a running clock or a handshake at the end of the 3rd quarter in 2008 when Oklahoma came to Kyle Field, yeah, that'd have been nice. That'd have been nice, because I don't remember the score at the end of 3 quarters, but I'm just hoping it wasn't already 66-28.
Whatever it was, you were good.
I was good. I'd seen what I needed to see. I only stayed for pride. I stayed for pride.
You were not hanging around hey, Johnny Jolly might get a tackle.
No.
It's 77-0. That'll bring me out of my seat.
No, I just hung out to talk. I was catching up with my dad. That's the only thing I did in the 4th quarter.
I'm going to tell you, in 2003, when I was there for, 65-14 or whatever the hell it was that day.
Yep.
The Vince Young scramble touchdown was nice, but by the end, it felt like it could have been 100 that day. So yeah, man, we're good. We're good. We get the point.
Yeah.
They're going to play a 4th quarter. So Texas is going to have to do something that they haven't done. They're going to play 4 good quarters. They didn't do that against Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really do that against Arkansas. They certainly didn't do that against Vanderbilt, which is, it's funny because I was thinking about this, Chad. And I'm curious to get your perspective on this because you're a fan of the Aggies. So you'll be able to maybe give a better perspective of the answer to this question and how the Longhorns fit into this, okay? So Ohio State and Georgia, those are 2 losses, 2 higher-ranked teams. And I think Texas fans, not even begrudgingly, will just admit those 2 teams are better than us, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're ranking the toughest games that Texas has played all season, 1 and 2, regardless of the order that you want to put them in, and by the way, I kind of think Georgia should be the favorite. If anybody's asking me, like, where should I put $100 in Vegas on the Natty right now? Like, I would probably lean Georgia, just me. But if it's Ohio State or anybody else, whatever. Indiana would still surprise me, but go Hoosiers. I might be rooting for the Hoosiers when this thing gets started. Like, if I have no dog in the fight, why wouldn't you root for Indiana? And if Texas somehow sneaks in and gets Indiana, damn you to hell, Hoosiers. But even then, I'll be like, it's a cool story. The 3rd and 4th most difficult teams that Texas has played are OU and Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Which, and I did this little mental exercise yesterday. Forgive me. I realize I'm doing something I just said you can't do, but I tend to think of the Vanderbilt game as a game that Texas dominated. It was 34-10, end of the 3rd quarter. Whatever it was that we think Vanderbilt did, it didn't sway me in what I thought happened in that game. But at the end, the score is the score, the stats are the stats, whatever, right? But if we look at the 4 quarters against Oklahoma and the first 3 quarters against Vanderbilt, that is a 57-16 score.
Right.
In 7 quarters of football against the number 3 and number 4 teams that they played on the schedule, they beat those teams up pretty good. Like, when the game was being decided, Texas kind of throttled both of those teams, although OU not completely throttled. They lose by 17. Mm-hmm. The Niblett returns big. Like, there's some sliding glass doors moments. But look, just like Texas lost by 25 to Georgia, OU lost by 17 to Texas. You can't tell me there's no nuance for one game and then the next game tell me there's nuance. They beat OU by 3 scores. All told, they beat those 2 teams through 7 quarters by 6 scores. So Texas is not, admittedly, everybody kind of agrees, they're not better than Georgia and Ohio State. But when games were decided, they were much better than Oklahoma, a team currently in the top 10, and much better than Vanderbilt, a team just on the outside of the top 10. The Aggies are smack dab in the middle of that. So what the hell? Who are the Aggies in connection and conjunction with these other teams? Will that by itself tell us the kind of game that we get on Friday?
A&M to me is, the other teams you're mentioning, neutral field, I would probably pick those other teams. If it's Georgia, if it's Ohio State, I'd have to think a while on the Indiana thing. There's a point in this year where I would have told you maybe go Indiana.
Is there anybody that you have even with Georgia? Forget about everybody else for a second.
No, I agree. I agree with you. Right now, the team that I feel like if it all clicks, look out, it's Georgia. That's the one that feels like
you separate those 2 teams just mentally, and then there's another, and then it's about deciding, are there 1, 2, or 3 teams on tier 2?
Yeah, right. That's probably the way I would look at it. The thing that stands out about this Aggie team, though, is their resolve. They just don't ever feel uncomfortable. Wherever they are, whatever the game asks of them, they've answered every question. Nobody's figured out how to finish them. Nobody figures out how to go, to your point, to go to that end of the 4th quarter and do it. There's been weird versions, strange games. I don't think they're elite. They don't feel elite to me. They don't feel like, oh, my God, the Aggies do everything. I mean, you're just done. But we all know where the danger spots are. They've won some weird high-scoring games. They've won some, stark, clunky, lower-scoring games, and then it finishes off. They've had a couple games where they just felt dominant by the end. Empty out Tiger Stadium, empty out Missouri Stadium with 24 and a 21-point victory. You can't totally ignore it. I know those teams are a little different than we thought they would be, for different reasons, but you can't just say, well, that's nothing. Yeah, whatever. Road win, they suck. It's like, no, it's not really that. So that's really the test for Texas.
So let me ask you a question. If A&M and OU played 10 times on a neutral field at Jerry World, like the old Arkansas series.
Yeah.
What's the split?
Oh, A&M wins at least 8 of those games for me.
You think A&M and OU played 10 times and A&M wins 10?
Love the matchup.
Sorry.
I love the Aggie defense against that OU offense. Man, everything you and I know John Mateer's not, that defense would show us very clearly. That's a horrible matchup for OU. They'd have 26 yards rushing.
It's kind of amazing that OU lost to Texas because they really have become proficient at winning ugly games that they shouldn't win.
Yeah.
Like Alabama, I think even OU fans are like, you know what? Alabama kind of rubbed our faces in it and we still kicked their ass. Like there's like an acknowledgement that
right.
I don't know that we're the better team.
Right. They didn't
kick out. We won on Saturday when it mattered. And hey man, kudos to them. I give Venables a lot of credit. I think they have overachieved. They've done more than I thought they would. I don't move the goalposts. I thought that this would be a season because the offense isn't as good as it's exactly what I thought it would be. That team is exactly what I thought it would be, except they've won games where Mateer hasn't been all that good, and I didn't think that was possible. I thought Mateer is going to have to be really good, and then he'll have a defense, and then they've got a chance to be really good. I did not think, Mateer is exactly who you think he is, but that defense is going to be – they're going to be timely. They're not going to – they're going to have tough chins. They're going to be a tough team, and they don't even need good quarterback play. And I just wouldn't have believed that. And I'm mystified when we watch Oklahoma games every week, and I don't think the announcers are even giving Venables enough credit.
No,
it still feels like they give Mateer an inordinate amount of credit for the success.
For some reason, they still think Mateer's awesome. They think he's great. They think he's a Heisman guy, and I don't get that part.
I like him as a football player, right? Like he's got some Baker Mayfield in him, and then it's like –
absolutely. No, he's likable. Yeah, if a machine was making Baker Mayfield, halfway through, it would spit out John Mateer and say, do you want
Baker.
more?
You know how Baker's kind of asshole, and I think he revels in that. So I don't even think Baker – I think Baker would be like, that's right, that's who I am. He got it right.
Before you put it back in the oven to bake in the moxie and the that part, that's what Mateer is. Mateer's just the pure version.
He is. He's pure. He is – I won't call him Snow White because I don't know that, but – he is a version of a poor man's, maybe a destitute man's version of Baker, because I don't know that we give Baker enough credit. Like to say someone's Baker Mayfield is to say they're one of the best quarterbacks in the history of college football. So
it's kind of like if you want to compare a guy to say, I don't know, Johnny Manziel, and it makes no sense. But that's another discussion.
Or Vince Young. Just think we would all have experience with enough guys who are candidates for GOAT status that we would never do that.
So anyway, to answer your question, Catch, I think A&M is really good. I think at times they have bordered on some greatness, but based on their schedule, based on the performance, based on injuries, I think it's still a team, weirdly enough, 11 games in, that there's still a bit of a question mark vibe around this team. And
can I ask you a question? One more question. How many times how do you think I will break the same if these two teams, OU and A&M, played at Jerry World 10 times this season? Where do you think my number is, and who do you think it's in favor of?
I think you would go I don't know, maybe 6-4 Aggies.
Probably 7-3.
7-3 Aggies? Okay.
I think they're the better team in most of those games.
Yeah.
I'm giving Oklahoma credit for they're just dogged. I am not going to deny Oklahoma credit for what they've done this season.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly gutsy. And
especially in games. Especially in those games where our Mason Thomas doesn't even play.
If somebody wanted to make a case to me that Brent Venables was the SEC Coach of the Year, I would absolutely accept it. I don't know that he's my coach of the year.
Right.
But you can make the case. I mean, we thought that schedule was going to eat them up, and they're going to make the playoffs with it. And so all you can do to that is, unless for some reason LSU, who I think might in its current form be the worst team in the SEC.
Man, that's a weird group. I hope they can figure out OU this week, but
I think they're going to get beat by 50.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what that game looks like. What does that?
It's getting to be like New Year's, Mardi Gras around the corner.
Right.
You know how gone fishing in the NBA with Kenny and Chuck in the game?
Right.
I feel like they might be like gone margarita or gone pina colada or just gone Cajun food. I'm just saying.
Gone to Hurricanes.
They might be so checked out that it might be a glorified like walkthrough practice for Oklahoma. I don't even know what the line is, but I have no faith in LSU this week. Just FYI.
Okay, on their third hand grenade already. I see those super chats. We will get to them. Let's remind you, though, you want to know when you got a rival? Yeah, it's when you throw it up like this and it just looks weird. Even seeing the word Aggies with the orange just looks a little wild, right? Because that's what rivalries are about. Just like when we threw up the Sooner one earlier in the year. 6:30 kick, $3 jellyfish, the $12 wing special, all the great food that they have. And yes, we throw it up on that big, beautiful screen right there in the middle. It'll be House Divided. Come see us and get piled into that post-game show. The Lowy Law Firm brings it to you. Yeah, those two guys are going to have a little bit to say about what happens Friday night. The Lowy Law Firm will sponsor it, and we'll see if we start at the 2-minute warning or if this thing has to go all the way to the end before we get it cranked up. Come see us. TCH Social Austin 183 and Anderson Mill. It is always a good time. It'll be interesting, as always, this week. All right. Let's grab these super chats here real quick, Catch. Our guy ATX Bates. How is A&M special teams? Then buy or sell. Real quick, Bates. Okay, so Concepcion's had some punt returns. Both these teams have punt returners that could change stuff, move the field and all that. The thing I would tell you to watch, Bates, the punter, to me, Tyler White's been all right. Not tremendous, but all right. Can be pretty good. The kicking is interesting for the Aggies. Randy Bond last year late became shaky, missed some kicks. Then they had a battle at the beginning of the season. They announced that this guy had, I think, a transfer from Florida, had taken the job from Randy Bond. And then as the season went on, that guy was nowhere to be seen. And then Bond was back. But then he missed 2 field goals as part of that wild first half against South Carolina, including Catch a ring the bell left upright on a 24-yard kick. He rang the bell on 24 yards. I mean, you talk about Kyle Field and a murmur. The way that game was going, gong, and that place just went, oh my Lord, it's not going to happen. What is going on? So watch the place kicking stuff, Bates. I don't know if A&M trusts long kicks at all in this game.
Hey, speaking of kickers, a little advice to Brandon Harris, everybody over at UT, Sark, if you're watching. We've had what was it, Truth Serum Sark in a while. I think that'd just get me in trouble for the A&M game. It's probably like a good for Sam Houston State. Probably people want to ask me Desmond Howard questions with Truth Serum Sark, and I get myself in trouble.
I would say maybe not right now. Right? Maybe not right now. Yeah.
But I just lost my train of thought.
Kickers.
Oh, the Arkansas kid. Like, get that kid in the portal. Somebody on Orange Bloods. If they said it on Orange Bloods, it has to be true. The kid's from Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say Jason Sukumel was telling me about him, right? A Texas guy.
Both his parents are apparently Texas grads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just saying, maybe just let them know you were impressed. And if the young man ever enters the portal, you guys might have an interest.
So the other part of this, Catch, buy or sell.
I felt like,
that's good.
I feel like every Texas fan watching this will co-sign let's speak that into existence, into the universe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Buy or sell. Anthony Hill is equal to at least a touchdown swing in Texas's favor.
No,
I would. Yeah, I don't
think so.
Not quite that far. The other one, Owens.
And Vegas wouldn't either. ATX Bates, like they would never move a game that much because of a defensive player, no matter how good that defensive player is.
Owens/Moss are equal to 7 points in A&M's favor. I would also sell that because you put a slash. If you said Owens and Moss, if you're telling me both of them aren't going to play, 7 points? No. I don't know if it swings it that way. It would swing it, though.
Because if you're losing your whole, that's a lot.
Yeah, that one I would buy if you'd said and not a slash. Because if you told me Owens and Moss aren't going to play, I don't trust one running back in this game that's not a quarterback.
Well, then if we're going to do that, then you have to almost say our Ant Hill / Ty Anthony Smith worth a touchdown. And you know what? If Ant Hill didn't play on Saturday and Ty Anthony Smith didn't play until the second half, it might not be 7. Might be close though.
It might. No, it might be. That's a great way to phrase it, Bates. Thank you for that. The other super chat we got was from Buck Wild Longhorn. $5. Silly game to think of. Swap UT and A&M schedules. What are the respective records at this point? I believe A&M would have 3 losses as well right now. Buck Wild, I could certainly see them losing the Georgia game. I would like to see the Ohio State game that early in the season with that Ohio State team. Obviously, A&M had some decent football at the beginning to go to Notre Dame and win.
What was the first game of the season for the Aggies? Was it at Notre Dame?
No. It was like that wasn't until September 13th. It was like UTSA. Okay. Remember? Where the running back went 11.
That's why I asked.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, remember we were talking about where the UTSA running back had 11 a carry?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
actually, Buck Wild, now that I think about that, maybe I don't want to see them on the road against Ohio State, but I think it would be at least 2. I don't know if it would be 3, but I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, those are tough games. I thought the Aggies would have 2 right now with their schedule.
There's 2 things that I would point out. It's a reason why I asked the question of Chad about when A&M played Notre Dame. I think one of the things that screwed this Texas team up, and it definitely screwed up Arch Manning, was they played Ohio State first. So the guys never started a game on the road before. It's 1 versus 3 or 1 versus 2, however it is. You're playing with a group of players around you that deep down, Sark didn't know they were this bad. You know, one of the things that we've been watching happen all season long, I'll give you a perfect example of this. How many times have we seen Texas throw a flare out into the flat to a tight end only to see that tight end get swallowed up for like a 1 or 2 yard gain?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Because a year ago with Gunnar Helm, that play could go for 6.
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago at Jatavian Sanders, that play could go for 6. This year, when you throw that ball to Jack Injuries, who I think is a fine player, but he's not Gunnar Helm, and you can't ask him to do Gunnar Helm things.
Yeah, it gets cut down a lot.
All of them do. But they keep trying that out, and every time you see it, you're like, well, couldn't you throw in a freshman receiver to do that? Like,
right.
Somebody that's not getting touches, that isn't going to get tackled after a yard or 2. Every position on the field is worse than it was a year ago. And forget about Arch for a second. Sark did not realize that. He didn't realize the weaknesses he had in his offensive line. He didn't know that the wide receivers were going to be as inconsistent as they've been. He didn't know that across the board. He didn't know that Jack Injuries wasn't Gunnar Helm. So early in the season, they start off with what either is their first or second toughest opponent of the season. I mean, they are ranked number 1. You haven't started a game in 9 months, really haven't been asked to do anything. You haven't been hit. You don't get the warm-up game. I think one of the real interesting things about how sliding glass doors can work in college football is if Arch plays the A&M schedule and gets the UTSA game, I don't think we ever see him in the funk.
Right, because you don't have to go to South Bend until September the 13th.
You get your preseason game.
Yeah. And even though that defense went to South Bend and gave up a ton of Jeremiah Love, they at least, like you said, they at least got to work their way into the schedule a little bit, and they put up enough of a fight to win the game. But yeah, it's an interesting game, Buck Wild. I like the thought game of that, of what if you switch these schedules.
And I think that, the thing that you've got to, there's just I don't know if Texas, that means Texas is going to win games on the road though, right? So they've not been good on the road at any point this season. They've gotten, I won't get descriptive with the Florida game, but they lost. They end up getting mollywopped at Georgia.
Yeah.
They go overtime against two of the worst teams in the conference. Although Kentucky is better than I think that we thought they were, but what are they, 11th at best in the conference? Maybe 10th if you think LSU is just giving up. That game shouldn't be going to overtime. And every player on that Texas team knows that. But when you look at the A&M schedule, there are some games that are on the road that I cannot certifiably say Texas would have gone on the road and won that game, because nothing that we've seen from them on the road this season suggests that they would go to Missouri and absolutely win that game.
Right. Or depending on, how the rest of the other season would play out, Death Valley.
Well, exactly. South Bend. There are games where it's like, well, they're going to win any of those games. Because when A&M beat LSU when LSU still mattered. Matter of fact, A&M ended LSU is what happened.
I was gonna say, they caused the firing.
Yeah, they 187. Brian Kelly's career.
LSU fans might have told you that's what the score felt like at that moment to them, 187 to whatever the Tigers.
That's what we got to start calling games that get coaches fired.
The 187 game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the score? 187.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like I want to say the dynamics of Arch and the offense would be completely different if they don't go through the because I don't think people appreciate that 1 versus 3 game. That was historic in college football. That doesn't happen very often. Right. The level of teams opening this season against each other was an extreme occurrence historically. Yeah. If you just don't ask Arch to do that and you give him UTSA to start the season, the whole thing in September, I think, unfolds differently. Mm-hmm. The way we view Arch as a player, he probably never gets that ringer or the ringer or the Athletic article on him.
Yeah.
But I look at A&M and I don't know, because they haven't played anybody. They played Notre Dame, and that game was a hell of a lot of fun. But it was a long time ago. It was so long ago, I can't remember if they played a game before it or not.
Right. In fact, they played 2, right? It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was UTSA and Utah State.
Yeah, I totally forgot that.
I think they both got mentioned in the chat. I think it was the
second weekend of the season game, and in my head, I even thought, maybe did they open with that? Because there were some good openings, the Clemson LSU game. There were some good games, and maybe I'm just, because that was a good game, and we didn't have a lot of them in September, I'm just giving it that. I don't know. I don't know what to make of A&M against OU on a neutral field. If I've seen it once, I would know, but I literally don't have an Apple. We'll be able to do a little bit better after Friday. We'll be like, okay, we've seen these two teams play Texas. You don't do the transitive property thing too much, but sometimes you can watch 2 teams, 3 teams play and go, okay, well, Texas did this to A&M, and A&M is better at that than Texas, and you can draw some conclusions. I don't know, but
Buck Wild, thank you for that.
I don't think it automatically ends with Texas being undefeated and A&M being 9-2 or 8-3. The way I think a lot of people asking that question are thinking it might.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. All right,
I do think 10-1 might be the floor on the A&M schedule. That they're not undefeated like the Aggies are, because they're too inconsistent, and they would lose a road game somewhere. Mm-hmm. But that road game loss was to Florida. And I really don't look at the Ohio State and Georgia were just better than them. But so I would look at, they'd be 10-1 right now.
All right. Speaking of being on the road, I just got back from this wedding, which means I was sleeping in a bed that wasn't mine. Now, first off, chef's kiss to the Verbo we stayed in. That bed was awesome. But it was also great that sinus and snoring specialists had helped me to have a great night's sleep. And that's what I've had since 2017. My wife also had a great night's sleep. She travels with that CPAP machine everywhere. She loves it, wouldn't sleep without it. And she sleeps like a baby as well. You're in Thanksgiving week. Think about where you're going to be. Are you going to have to sleep in somebody else's room, somebody else's bed, weird house, whatever it is? Are you keeping people up with the snoring, sleep apnea stuff? Do you know you have sinus issues? Do you always have sinus infections and all the allergy stuff? Get rid of all of that. Make it a holiday gift to yourself. Call 601-0303 or securely text them on that number. Tell them you heard about it on OB Live and tell them you heard about it right here. You can also go to sinussnoringent.com. Find out more information. Feel clear, rested, and healthy this holiday season and every season with sinus and snoring specialists. Check them out. All right. We're talking obviously about the game coming up on Friday, kind of an injury theme in a way today because of the updates that everybody's looking for with Anthony Hill on the Texas side, with Le'Veon Moss on the Aggie side. Nothing definitive either way. And I think it's a great point you started with, Catch. Neither coach was emphatic about either guy. Certainly was not emphatic positive about
Elko,
either guy.
I think was a little more. I mean, Elko's like probably not. So
Yeah,
I mean, that is not emphatic, but that's a stance.
Those are the last two words an A&M fan wants to hear. I think, if you even kind of watch this team, you know how important Moss is, and it will change that offense a little bit. So that is really one to keep in mind. I guess we do the same injury report thing, even though it's a Friday game. Do we go Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then game, and that's it? They're not going to back it up and do one tonight, are they?
I bet Wednesday's the first.
So it's just you get one less report.
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be Wednesday.
There's only 2 teams, right? Well, I guess there's 4 teams that would impact. The Egg Bowl's Friday night.
Correct. Friday morning for the Egg Bowl.
Yeah,
Friday 11 a.m. for the Egg Bowl. Yeah, so that one will get affected a little bit as well. It's a good call. So yeah, it's going to be a huge impact on this game, but we're gonna see how things play out. I love the comparisons, Catch, with I've seen, and great job to the graphics.
Hold on, breaking news, Chad. Breaking news.
Yes.
According to the SECsports.com website,
yes,
the first A&M Texas injury report expected at 7:10 p.m. Central Time, Tuesday, November 25th.
See, there you go. How about that? SEC gonna get you 4 reports no matter what. 4 reports are coming. 3 pregame reports and then the 90-minute before.
No wonder Sark looked like he didn't want to be at that press conference yesterday. They were like, not only do I have to do this, I got to do the injury report tomorrow? What do you do? Come on.
Catch, I'm so glad they exist. We've talked about this, but now this is really one of those games, both sides of a rivalry game, of a game this big. You got a huge blinking light on both sides where one fan base is just trying to find that 0. And is he going to play? Is he going to play? And the other side's looking at an 8 thinking, all right, is he going to go? Plus the first half targeting thing with Anthony Smith that you've already brought up. That's huge. So just, it's more build up. Thank you, SEC, for making what means more already mean even more with injury reports.
One thing, by the way, you want to buy or sell in a second?
We can do it. Yes, I'm ready.
I am too. I was just going to say one thing the injury report inadvertently does is, for instance.
Yeah. Michelle's not wrong. It does just mean more. Yep.
How many guys were on the depth chart last week for Texas?
On the
depth chart, on the injury report.
Wait, was last week the Nunda report? Was that the none?
Well, at the end, Hill was out. Remember, it started the week.
You're right.
Ringo and Hill were on it together.
Right. But by the end of it, they had him completely off, didn't they? Or I guess he just said out. It was just him.
On Saturday, they said he was out.
Okay.
He was outful on Friday, which is
Out.
Cody Carpentier came up with that. And I told him I was going to steal it, and he said I could have it. So
outful is funny. I like
that. That is funny. So
yeah.
I stole that. It's not mine, but I'm only announcing this once that I've stolen it. Forevermore, it's mine.
Good job, Cody.
Very clever, Cody. Anyway, I was just saying that if you know that there's only one guy on the depth chart or on the injury report, and it's Anthony Hill, and then a guy that's been playing a lot doesn't play at all in a game, you're like, oh, I guess he wasn't hurt. You know what I mean? If somebody's in the doghouse or if somebody's falling on the depth chart, and I think Jalen Gilbo is, to me, the perfect example of this. His playing time fell off the radar last week. And this was a guy that was a starter the week before and is a multi-year starter. He's a guy that once upon a time was good enough that they thought, well, when he was a freshman, they thought he was better than Jahdae Barron. That's not – he won that job, and then he got hurt. He comes back. They eventually think he's good enough that allows us to move Jahdae Barron to the outside, where Barron wins the Thorpe and becomes a first-round draft pick. So Jalen Gilbo is supposed to be pretty good. We've reached the end of Jalen Gilbo's senior season. He has no COVID year. Like, this is it. And with a game or two left to play, he's gone from starting lineup to last week he couldn't get on the field when the game mattered. And then you go back and you look at the snaps and you look at who he's behind and you go, whoa. From starter to he's not only behind Cade Phillips, who played pretty well on Saturday and will get tested this weekend. But I think he may be, I don't know. Like, again, you can't hide it. Without an injury report, if a guy doesn't play, you just kind of go, well, maybe got hurt. Maybe there's a concussion we didn't know about. But they get fined and stuff in the SEC for that. So presumably the guys on the injury report are the guys that are on the injury report. And if somebody doesn't play, the schools can get in trouble if it turns out, oh, well, we didn't put KC Concepcion on the injury report. Our bad.
Right. No, they watch it. They pay attention to it. And they don't. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, one of the byproducts of it means more, they give us more, is that they unintentionally kind of tell us some stuff about what's happening to teams in a not so pleasant way that's very informative.
Well, yeah, and I think it's healthy too, because it gives the fans, it gives broadcast teams, it gives Vegas, it gives a lot of people the chance to properly set their brain for a game to go, wait a minute, we're 90 minutes to kick. Any ideas on that quarterback? Yeah, he's listed as out. Okay. Or however it's going to play out. That's important. All right, Catch, before we get to buy or sell.
I like my buy or sell questions, even if I don't have them written down.
Excellent. Let's hear from Specs. They bring you the chat each and every day. And I did
play what I want to hear.
I checked out yesterday's show. Catch, unfortunately, didn't play it for you. But let's check out the one with the picnic and be sure to look for the look.
Look for the look
at the picnic.
When fall's chill hits the air, raise a glass with cash to spare. Specs can fill those longer nights with fancy cheese and wine flights. Camp is set and the night is young? Grab a brewski, time for fun. Game day underway? Specs delivers. It's a great day. Picnic in the park, perfect pairing for the heart. Stock up and save on seasonal cheer, because when you shop at Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, shout cheers to savings.
He's in such a good spot.
Well done, sir.
He's in such a good spot. Like, I don't know. I have thoughts about how I think the day ends, but regardless, he's in pretty good with the look.
Yeah. Also,
let's start doing in the spot, Chad, looking at everybody else's looks.
Yeah. Well, what you realize in that spot too, what Specs is telling you is that if you go to Specs and get properly stocked up, attractive women will show up at your parties.
Or go out on picnics with you.
Nothing against the guys in that spot. Just saying. The women stand out. They do stand out.
I think if I was single, I would just try to lean into it. Like get the picnics ready.
Yeah.
Specs is telling me what my game plan needs to be. I want the look. So
it is the most brilliant scan. If you look, because she starts by looking down and then scanning up. She's scanning both the food, the setup, the picnic, and him all at the same time. And maybe she's also checking sight lines in the park. Just saying. Just saying. You never know.
I had some real Stanley Kubrick Eyes Wide Shut vibes going on there. Like she was telling a story with her eyes. And that's why I said, like, now I'm watching the whole video looking at everybody's eyes.
I was not allowed to watch that movie, so I'm going to take your word for it. I've never seen it.
You should watch that movie. It's fun.
I've never seen it. All right, Catch. You want to buy or sell first or second?
I'll go first.
Hit it.
Buy or sell number one, your opinion from Saturday night that the team with the better quarterback play efficiency rating will be the team that wins on Friday.
Yeah, that's still a buy. Still a buy. Those two guys, along with the two destroyers on the opposite sides from them, Simmons and Howell, are huge in this game for me. But ultimately, I think when all that math works its way out, it's the quarterback with the highest rating that is going to win this game. So I'm going to still stick with that stat. Yes.
And buy or sell number two, because of that answer, you think Marcel Reed will be the better quarterback, the higher rated quarterback on Friday night?
Right now, I'm going to say buy. I am leaning towards picking the Aggies in this game. The Moss thing makes me want to make it a tighter score, though. Honestly, I've been thinking like kind of maybe it's Aggies by maybe 7 or so, but man, that might tighten it up for me. It might turn into like Aggies by but right now, yeah, I'm leaning a little bit for Marcel. I think his team is a little bit more complete, and the weaponry around him is going to enable him to get a little bit better rating.
Buy or sell number three, you think Colin Simmons is the best edge player you've ever seen in a Texas uniform?
Ooh.
There's some dudes on that list, so I'm not
going to say there's some hound dogs.
You need me to do a quick little roll call for you? You can probably start with some Tony Brackens in the mid-90s. You can go Corey Redding. You can go Brackens. There's Robeson or Crowder. Or
I was going to say I got to give my man Brian Robinson a little love for what he became at Texas. But you know what? Since I got to see him play that game live where he was destroying my Waxahachie Indians at Duncanville, and he's just turned into such a beast, I'll go ahead and buy it. I'll buy it. I'll stay positive for this week without breaking it all down. Now, as far as who looked the part more, I might lean Brackens. I don't think any defensive end that I've ever seen wearing that uniform looked any more destructive than when Tony Brackens put on, was it 98 he wore? Was that the right number?
I think so, yeah.
Tony Brackens just looked more dangerous to me than maybe any Longhorn I've ever seen. Maybe Britt Hager. That's another one that always frightened me as a kid. But from the end position, I'll go with Brackens for the look. But yeah, let's go Simmons as the biggest overall freak ever. Let's do it.
It's funny when I went back and looked at Tony, because I remember Tony Brackens as just an ass-kicking son of a bitch that like was unstoppable.
Yeah.
But then I look up his game-by-game stats. He ain't doing what Colin Simmons is doing. But there's never been a stretch where after 4 games you go, 6.5 sacks. Productive. Like, that is insane. It's insane what Colin Simmons has done once the match was flicked on his season. He's been out of control, unstoppable.
Well, think of these two guys, Catch. The stats are so crazy. These teams are 2 and 3 in sacks, and these two guys are a big reason why. And I think on individual stuff for like SEC Defensive Players of the Week and stuff, Simmons and Howell are all over the thing, and they're both just so incredible to watch, man. If you're not paying attention, when Texas is on defense, we all know we're looking for number 1. When the Aggies are on defense, number 9, Longhorn fans. If you I said that before the Notre Dame game. If you don't notice number 9, going to be tough for them to win in South Bend. Same thing here. If 9 is quiet, if the Texas offensive line keeps number 9 out of your brain, Texas is going to have a real good shot to win this game.
Buy or sell number 4. Excuse me, I started coughing. On a 1 to 10 scale of happiness, Cowboys coming back and beating the Eagles on Sunday. Very solid 7 or higher for you.
Oh, that's a definite buy. I might go 8.5 to 9. I really enjoy
Wow. You really enjoyed it.
I really enjoy Philly Sadness. You got to understand, I just threw the game away. We were getting ready for wedding stuff. It was rehearsal time, right? I saw 14-0. I figured, here we go. I saw 21-7. Didn't even know it was 21-0, but I saw 21-7. Then we're getting ready to eat. We're going to a restaurant. They've got a screen up, and I can see it catch from the outside of the building. It's already 21-all when I walk up, and I'm like, I'd seen on my phone it was 21-all. I'm like, what in the world's going on? I walk up just in time to see the Cowboys not kick the field goal at 21-all with a little less than 4 minutes to go. You know me, I'm flipping out at this point.
Oh, yes. I couldn't help but think of you.
But then as we're waiting for the table, I process all that. Cowboys still have a shot. Then they find their way. They kick it. Then I get to go back to the car where my Steeler fan wife is behind the wheel, knowing that her Steelers have lost. The Ravens have won, and then she gets to see me dance back to the car to tell her that the Cowboys just beat the Eagles.
No wonder you slept in a new room last night.
Exactly. It was a good time. It was a good time. I said, honey, did you see how I saw how they did it. Shut up. Yeah, it was a good time.
We will have to talk, though, when the show's over about your thoughts on 21-21 and bypassing the lead. I just how could I not? Buy or sell, number 5. I went with the family yesterday, although my son didn't go. He didn't want to see it. I saw Wicked 2, Electric Boogaloo in the theater.
I've seen it. I really wish that was the title, but I have seen it, yes.
Well, now I have to change. I didn't realize you'd seen it so quickly.
Are you kidding? I've got a daughter that was all excited about it. I went and saw it with
but she's in college now.
I know, but she came home. The timing was right. She was coming home for the wedding and all that stuff. So we, Thanksgiving week and weddings. And so we went and saw it.
Well done. Well, I'm happy for you, honestly. Yeah. But you're in the circle of trust, buy or sell, number 5. You've seen Wicked 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
You can't give it more than a B.
Let's see. That's probably about right. I think it's a buy. I enjoyed it to a B level. I'm not a theater guy, so I literally sat down, at 50 years old, having no clue how it ended. None.
Same.
Like zero. I'm not that much of a Wizard of Oz guy.
I was really surprised. Like, I was not expecting that.
I'm not that much of a Wizard of Oz guy. I've heard vague conversations about Wicked, just the overall theme, but I have never heard like some of the things that occur. So I sit down. Nobody spoiled it for me, and I got to watch all of that. And so, yeah, I'd go B. You may be able to argue me up to like a B+ because I did have some Skittles during the movie. That always helps. And those two performers,
by the way, they were like out of candy.
Those two performers are great. Ariana Grande's acting is phenomenal. She sings great too, but her acting is great. Arrivo's singing is incredible. I love the Jeff Goldblum casting. So, yes, at least a B. I might even argue a B+, but it's a buy for a B. Yeah.
I'll give it a B. I wasn't quite as excited as you, but I thought I wanted to walk out at the first hour. It was pretty boring, I thought.
It had a slow, it dragged to start. I needed an editor. I think an editor could have really helped that movie.
But at the hour mark, I'm engaged for the rest of the way. And I was entertained. Yep. Like, I was engaged. You know what I mean?
They landed the plane pretty well. The takeoff took a while.
What my 11-year-old daughter, she does not like the flying monkeys.
Hey.
She thinks that animal abuse.
My 19-year-old daughter, who loved the first one, dogged the second one a little bit. She didn't think it lived up to it.
My daughter was with her 10-year-old cousin, and apparently all they did was make running jokes commentary, like Mystery Science style. And that's the only reason why they kind of liked it, because they just like added snarky commentary, apparently, the entire movie. Didn't like it. I think I liked it more than they did.
I did. My wife and I each liked it more than our daughter did, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, kids are some of the kids are ripping on. Kids are tough. You know how they are, Catch. Kids are tough critics, man. They ain't gonna lie to you.
Then my daughter told me, we loved Twisters the first time we saw it, loved it. But then Mom showed it to us like 100 times after that, and we just started. That's where the Mystery Science Theater commentary kicked in. They saw Twisters so many times that they it lost some of its impact. So they decided, let's make this fun by being snarky.
See, now
she gets it from her dad. I'm so proud.
Now, why would Mrs. Ketchum want to watch Twisters over and over and over? I just can't think if there's a handsome man enough in. You know what, Heather? Glenn Powell is Glenn Powell. That's why my girls want to rewatch Twisters, guaranteed.
Can't even be mad.
My daughter likes a Luke Combs song just because it reminds her of Glenn Powell. She admitted that to me. She's like, I don't even know if I really like the song. It just makes me think of how good looking he is. And I'm like, okay.
It kind of reminds me of that question I asked you back in the day about Brad Pitt, like if you were a woman question, but I'm not going to do that to you today. I might do that on Buy or Sell by the end of the week. But yes, yes, Glenn, I get it.
Yeah, he's
it's like I saw Two for the Money this morning. Which is the Matthew McConaughey Al Pacino movie from 20 years ago.
Right. Yes.
And McConaughey's shirtless for half the movie.
Yeah.
Lifting weights, standing in the mirror, just being half naked. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, this is not my wife has never been like, let's watch Two for the Money. But if she did, I'd be like, I get it.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Were you done with 5 or are you getting to 5? You still have one?
5. I'm done.
That was it. Okay. You still have that. All right. We will get to buy or sell for Ketch after I show you one more beautiful thing today, and it is this steak at Taste on Main. If you're cooking all that food this week and then you get sick and tired of all those people in your house and you think, man, I need to go somewhere and have them cook for me, head on over to downtown Buda, free parking, leisurely walk around with someone you like, not the people that are annoying you. Leave them at home. Go to Taste on Main, have an Oscar-style steak. If you love your steak and your seafood, that is crab meat on top, fresh, incredible crab meat on top. It is so good. Those are the Brussels sprouts. You know, if you listen to me, I do love me some Brussels sprouts. They've got other sides, I promise. They have great steaks. They have only East Coast oysters, and they do a brunch Saturday and Sunday. Go treat yourself to Taste on Main. Maybe take the whole family if you just don't want to cook at all to Taste on Main in Buda. Tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live. Tell them we said hello. All right, Catch, here we go. Buy or sell number 1. You're leaning Texas with your pick.
So I'm not leaning in a direction yet, honestly. Okay. I've gone back and forth, and gun to my head, I'm really not sure. If gun to my head, I'd probably say the Aggies.
All right, let's go to the score breakdown. Buy or sell number 2, 30+ wins this game.
Sell. I think it might need 35.
Went up. Okay, gotcha. I was wondering if maybe does the Le'Veon Moss thing for you, does that bring it down?
I think both of these teams might put some points up against each other.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be a wild one if he gets up into that spot. All right, Catch, buy or sell number 3.
And Chad, it could be that either one of these two teams can jump out ahead, and then it's just a racetrack all night long where one team is just chasing the game the whole game, and the other team's just really effective and continuing to be really good on offense. And I could see either team being in that position. Like Arch Manning's now playing at a level where you tell me he throws for 350 and 4 touchdowns on Friday, I'm not blinking. But if you tell me Marcel Reed has the exact same type of performance based on what we've seen from the last month, probably not blinking over that either. So like I said, I'm pretty torn because I think this game could go in a lot of different directions, and I can see both teams winning this game in a lot of different directions.
How about if they both do that, Catch, and it's 42-all at the end, and somebody's kicker has to hit 45-42 to win it? How about that game? Let's do that.
I mean, I like Mason Shipley in that situation. I don't obviously like it if we're going if it's 50 and beyond. Sarkisian would tell you he'd probably just throw a Hail Mary.
That would be the wildest. I think both coaches would tell you, is this coming down to a 50-yard kick? Do you trust your guy? I think both coaches would be like, no.
I
don't trust my guy.
You don't even have to ask Sark the question. He's told us.
I think you're right. All right, Catch, let's go to another big game. In fact, they call it the big game. Buy or sell number 3. Michigan does it again.
So I think Ohio State's going to get it done. I don't think it's going to be one-sided. Ohio State comes into this game about as banged up as they could possibly want to be.
Yeah. And that game just always feels like 17-14, 14-10, 13, like it always feels like that kind of game to me.
It doesn't feel like the quarterbacks have decided this game in a while, but Julian Sand is a significant quarterback advantage versus what Michigan works with their true freshmen. So if it's ever going to matter at all, it should matter in a game where one team's quarterback is young and still really trying to figure it out, and the other team's quarterback's playing at a Heisman level. If you're Ohio State, you can't win that game, you really do have a weird Michigan thing.
Yeah, Julian might be starting a Heisman campaign for next year with this game. This really might be like a push for what he could turn into for next year. We'll see. Catch, buy or sell number 4. Even with a win, you think Texas will be left out of the CFP?
Buy. Yeah, the committee could have made this thing a little. We talked about this in the post-game show where they could have said we're not dropping Texas below Vanderbilt, because that's what the committee did with Texas Tech and Utah, and they didn't. They put some space in between those two teams, and I don't know. I mean, I guess you could make the case that if Texas beats A&M, they will leapfrog some teams, but if that was possible, you would think that the committee would have made it a little bit easier to put them in a position where if we think they're good enough where they beat a number 3 team in the country, if we think that they can do that, maybe we shouldn't have them at the back of the pile. So I don't know. I think it may just be a one bridge too far.
Yeah.
Because enough chaos hasn't happened. You needed maybe one or just one more thing this weekend to happen to make it a little bit easier. Texas didn't really get all of the breaks that they needed. In fact, I think one of the real surprising things to me is we're in late November now, and there hasn't been a lot of chaos. Really, I thought when we got to November, shit was going to be bonkers.
Right.
Been a lot of chalk, actually.
Yeah, and you said it way back when it happened. Like the Bama losing to OU was such a dagger for Texas. And if you had told me earlier in the season at any point, just say, hey, they're going to go to Tuscaloosa and win, they're going to go to Knoxville and win, and they're going to beat Missouri at home, I'd have said, you're wrong. You're wrong. They're not winning all 3 of those games. There's no way OU is winning all 3 of those games with that sluggish offense. It will cost them somewhere, and they got it done. And I'm with you on Venables. He is getting underappreciated right now for what he's pulling off. I can't believe they are 9-2. I can't believe it. I didn't think they'd be awful like some people. I didn't think it was going to be like last year. I didn't think that, but I didn't think they could win all 3 of those games. No way. All right, Catch. And finally, off of a discussion earlier about Thanksgiving, I need to know, buy or sell number 5. You predict that your daughter will give Thanksgiving a thumbs up after this year. Buy or sell?
Buy. Yeah, you know why? Because Dad's making her favorite macaroni and cheese.
Hey, you told me there were things in the works.
And I don't think that I do a whole lot special, but she loves the way that I make it. And one of the things that she's kind of nitpicked about previous Thanksgivings is that places that we've gone to, the mac and cheese just isn't Dad's mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And this year, Dad, I'm going to get a thumbs up for sure.
Okay. It's great that you brought up that particular dish too. We were having a discussion about where we're going to be. I thought of you guys because we were talking about where we're going to be for Thanksgiving. We're going to go see my in-laws. My sister-in-law is one of 7 kids. And when that group gets together, it's food everywhere and it's awesome. And my wife, unsolicited, was just like, you know what's great when they get together? And I said, there's always 3 different kinds of turkey minimum when that crew gets together. But my wife stopped me and she went, you know what's great there? Mac and cheese. And I went, oh, she does make great. Like one of her sisters is known in the family for making this mac and cheese. They insist on it every year and it's dynamite. It's so good.
Let me tell you, this will be your basic craft. Macaroni and cheese.
Ooh.
But what I do really well is the milk volume. It's a science.
Oh, okay. I see.
If you aren't exact with the milk, you're just going to get some runny.
So what you're saying is your mac and cheese is not too runny and your mac and cheese is not too thick. You find the perfect spot.
And it's all because like I have a Jedi Knight sensei vibe of I eyeball the pour like I'm a chef.
Dude, my grandmother was so good at that. That was the other that my mama was the master of the Kraft mac and cheese. People would just end up making fun of me because it's like, well, it's just mac and cheese. No. In the hands of a certain artist. So I believe in you,
Chad, is it's
it's
just a splash. Your eyeballs tell you that more milk should go into it because, by God, why wouldn't you want to put more milk into something?
Be conservative on the milk is what you're saying.
It's a splash of milk.
Okay.
If you have to ask the question, did I put too much in? Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. Pour it out, drain it out. Yes. Okay.
The thing is, sometimes it's like it gives it cooties or something. But once that amount of milk has gone in, it's going to be a little creamy and less cheesy and perfect than normal. I'm just telling you, I don't do a lot of things right. I'm not even saying it's the best, but that's what I do.
On our way out, I now want to try Sandman's as well. I make the best mac and cheese. I use 4 types of cheese, and it's topped with chives, bacon bits, and jalapenos. Sandman, I would try it. Bring me a bowl. I would try.
I loathe chives. You lost me the chives.
Oh, I ain't afraid of a chive. A chive ain't going to change my mind.
It will for me. I will throw up.
Catch will throw up.
The reason why I hadn't had enchiladas all these years because I thought it'll make me throw up. I don't want to eat that mess. It's got beans in it. I
see. Because you didn't think the enchiladas had chives. You thought the enchiladas had beans, and
I'm telling you things I don't want to eat.
Chives and beans. Is that why you left those barbecue beans just sitting there the other day at Deep Eddy?
Oh yeah, I didn't touch them. I'm not touching them. The mac and cheese was good though.
The mac and cheese was really good there too. By the way, for you folks out at the Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room, we tell you to go get the Crimson Creek Smokehouse Barbecue. If you like a good barbecue bean, Ketch is not this person, so we're not talking to Ketch. If you're into a good barbecue bean, almost like a pork and bean style, but with a little more attitude to it. Oh, such a good taste. Such a good taste. I should have reached over and ate yours. I should have, but I didn't. I was nice.
I mean, you could have.
I killed
you saw it wasn't being. That food sat there for a long time, and them beans weren't getting touched. You had permission.
It did. The problem was I'd eaten so much.
I thought those were the only beans because you took the other ones. I didn't even know there were a second one.
I ate too much before I looked over and saw that you hadn't eaten them because I ate plenty of that brisket and the.
I thought we were sharing that, so I was like, I would have said something if I'd known you were into the beans, but I thought that was just ours to share.
Oh no, they brought
just
2.
Getting down with the barbecue.
They brought 2. I grabbed one, and I probably had it half done by the time you sat down.
I know you did because I didn't see you eat it. Okay.
God, they were good.
Wrap us up.
All right. Thank y'all for liking, subscribing, and getting those notifications. We'll have one more live show tomorrow at 12. By the way, Brian Jones in for 12:30 because he's just that dude. We'll talk to him about all the games of the weekend. Maybe get a memory or two from, playing the Aggies. Remember that 1990 game? Yeah, number 60 was involved in that one. We might ask him about that one. Classic game. Maybe we get that score, Catch. 28-27, I think was the final there. And that was in Austin, right? That was
a fun game.
Oh, my God. That was an even year, so that would have been in Austin. And just a wild game there. So we'll talk to Brian tomorrow.
What's the best game in the history of this rivalry?
We'll have to talk about it, but that one's up there for me. Just best.
It feels like we know that answer to Texas OU. I don't know that I've ever explored what's the best Texas A&M game of all time.
Right. The OU thing to me always goes to that 08 game because it was a classic. But in this game, they're always so up and down. One's up while the other's down, and there's been a lot of blowouts. That's the first one I'll bring up without looking on the list. The Ricky breaks the record game was actually a close game. People don't remember that was tight. There was actually some decent. I don't know if it's the best.
I didn't think that game was good, though. It was close.
Right. It was dramatic and close. I agree with you.
What about 07?
I didn't think it was high quality. 07 had a lot of scoring to it. Best game. Best game. Texas fans wouldn't say that. Huh?
What about 27-25.
No, see, well, for me, it's the same. Taking allegiances out of it, I thought that was a sluggish, ugly game, and neither of
the
those
drama at the end of those two teams not playing each other potentially ever again. And
no, you're right about that. But those two teams were average at best. Those two teams were so disappointing by that. By the time that game kicked off, both those teams had disappointed everyone in attendance.
So 90s is a better game than the 98 game. It just was.
I would say so.
So
I think it's
the last
90.
35 years, that's the best game.
90 is the one I'm putting up there right now.
Let us know in the comments if you hung out this long.
The score.
And this
See, Sandman says this is the best game, right? When Colt McCoy went crazy running the ball and 49-9. That's the one that he thinks. But outside, what we're saying is right. Outside of a blowout for your side, or obviously the other side, what's the best game? If you're just going to say to somebody,
is it 95?
95.
The last Southwest Conference game, Ricky's.
Well, if you want to convince me,
Texas fans will claim that as the most important. I didn't think A&M played well in that. I don't remember that as a great game. It was a great Texas victory.
It was a great Texas victory. It's the game that you could definitely, if people don't really believe you can die while playing football, I would tell them to watch that game. Go watch 95, Texas A&M, ask Leland McElroy and some others about that game. Was as physical a game as I've ever seen.
Real quick, my two favorite Texas A&M games, and I just want to know your favorite. 96, when James Brown was at 51-15 or whatever it was.
I bet you did enjoy that one.
I think they may have rushed for -7 yards in that game. I know there was a -7 yard game in one of those games. I think it was. I enjoyed the Chris Sims light show. But in 2000 as well. So JB and Chris Sims.
Those are the two.
Those dudes just lighten it up. And probably the Sims game more than anything else, because he was throwing to Roy, he was throwing to BJ, he was throwing to Sloan. And that was at a time when we thought those three were going to be super mega stars as a trio. What about you?
I think for me, it's pretty simple. It's like, because of the age I was and what it started, it's 84 and 85.
I was going to say it's the ass kicking in 84.
It's what was it, 37-12 followed by 42-10. It's those two scores.
42-10 game is, for me, always feels like the game that changed the rivalry for a decade.
I can't remember which one came first, but there was so much just.
I think the 42-10 came first.
So many big plays for the Aggies. And I think one of those, if I'm not mistaken, isn't one of those the one that starts with the little swing pass from Texas, interception, pick six, that starts an avalanche? Like, it was those two. Those two really, really stood out.
Okay, so you're right. Texas obliterates A&M in 83 with that great team that they had.
That one is the first one I ever saw, and I think that was 45-13.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then the next year, they're in Austin.
Yes, it was in Austin.
And the Aggies beat them 37-12.
And then they go to College Station and go 42-10.
And I think the reason why I remember the 85 42-10 game is it sets up the Freedom Bowl game against Air Force.
Isn't the 42-10 game the one that starts with the little swing and Marcus Buckley interception?
I don't remember. That's a little bit before my time.
I think that's the one. I think is that.
I don't see a Buckley interception I'm looking at the box score.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of maybe it was a different game.
That was a Murray quarterback game, though. If you needed to know that for sure.
Did Kyler's dad play football? Was he a football player? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay.
He was good. I don't know if people even know that. He was good. He threw 3 touchdowns that night.
Yeah, Catch. I'm trying to put my thoughts together for like a post on Orange Bloods, the 2%er post this week, and I realized the math. I'm 50. They didn't play for 12 years. That means there's 38 games in my life, and it's 19 all. So this year breaks the tie during my life of these two teams, because
there was also a Roger Vick. Wasn't Roger Vick went to A&M, right?
Hell yeah, he did. You just gave me some emotions there. Say Roger Vick.
I mean, I see Vick's name. I had to assume it's Roger. He wasn't with the Jets yet.
Roger Vick. Oh, absolutely. He was one of those early guys, when you're a kid and you start just falling in love with certain players and whatever. Yeah, Roger Vick.
The reason why A&M won 42-10 that day, they were really good at a couple of key positions, and Texas was not.
Little Roger Vick, Keith Woodside, and all those. I mean, dude, they had some players back then, obviously. And the defense was decent, too. Aggie defense is okay. They're all right in 84 and 85. All right, there you go. If we'll be back again, Brian Jones tomorrow, and then Thursday we'll do a recorded show that'll hit on Thanksgiving. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for checking out the channel and supporting us. We are